I nearly lost my spouse because I picked up an inaccurate dial at 3 a.m. My device buzzed in the dead of night. I was so exhausted I didn't even verify the caller. Upon picking up, I was met by a woman's voice stating that her vehicle had stalled and she needed a lift home from work. Somewhat in a daze, I murmured, "I'll be there shortly, darling," and hung up. I dressed haphazardly in the pitch dark, grabbed my keyring, and drove to the healthcare center where my spouse, Yolanda, worked as a medical practitioner. The parking space was nearly empty when I stepped foot. I glanced around but couldn't locate her in sight. The only car present had a young lady perched on the hood, engrossed in her device. After a 20-minute wait, worry began to settle in. I attempted to call Yolanda, but there was no response. Eventually, I approached the lady on the vehicle and questioned if she required assistance. "I'm waiting for my beau," she replied. "He should be here any instant." My car refused to ignite. I nodded and continued scanning the deserted parking space for Yolanda. The lady appeared edgy, seeing me scouring the dimly lit lot. "You looking for someone?" she queried. "My spouse works here. She phoned for a lift, yet I can't locate her." The lady looked bewildered. "What's her designation?" Upon mentioning her name, the lady shook her head. "There's no healthcare worker by that name on the night duty. I'm familiar with everyone working here." This revelation made my stomach lurch. I went inside and inquired the receptionist about Yolanda. She skimmed the duty timetable and affirmed that Yolanda wasn't employed that night. Besieged with confusion, I dialed her number yet again. In this instance, she answered, weeping so uncontrollably that I could hardly comprehend her. "How could you cavalierly abscond in the middle of the night?" she bawled. "Who is she? I had faith in you." My mind was in a whirl. "What are you insinuating? You dialed me for a ride from work." "I'm at home," she hollered. "I've been here all throughout." "You left the bed," muttered, "I'll be there in a jiffy," and vacated. "I observed you dial someone else's contact before you departed." That's when the reality of the situation dawned on me. I inspected my recent calls and noticed a foreign number, a mere one-digit difference from Yolanda's. I hastened home to find her stowing items into a suitcase, eyes swollen from crying. She averted her gaze as I struggled to elucidate the predicament. "So you're asserting a random dame dialed you at 3 a.m. and you naturally assumed it was me?" she retorted, her voice chillingly devoid of emotions. "You didn't even observe me slumbering right adjacent to you?" My stomach churned. The narration sounded so implausible even to me. For 3 consecutive days, she barely uttered a word to me. She took refuge in the guest room and commenced meeting divorce legal advisors. Then something marvelous occurred. She was shopping for groceries when she overheard a young woman conversing on the phone. "I still can't process how I dialed the inaccurate number that night, and a haphazard chap actually turned up to facilitate the ignition of my vehicle. What kind of individual does that at 3 a.m. for a complete outsider?" Yolanda abruptly stopped in the cereal section, eavesdropping as the woman narrated the exact sequence of that night. The woman even cited the healthcare center parking space. When Yolanda came home, the anger had washed away from her countenance. She placed the grocery bags and simply gazed at me. "I encountered her," she murmured silently. "The dame who rang you that night. She's employed at the hospital in bureaucratic work. Her beau's contact is one numeral separate from mine." She displayed a photo on her device, the same lady I'd observed sitting on the hood of her vehicle that night. Yolanda had asked her contact and dialed it from her device. It was precisely one numeral differing from hers. The situation invoked an incredulous laughter from both of us. The cosmos had enacted the cruelest hoax on us, and we'd almost allowed it to dismantle our relationship. That night, we relocated her belongings back to our personal space. Sometimes the most ludicrous explanation happens to be the empirical truth.